Morning Market Snipers. This is Jesse. It's live stream. And shout out to the replay crew that's going to watch this later, whether you're in a different time zone, whether you're working or running a business. We appreciate you on the replay crew as well. But let's get this started for the live crew. We have a lot to cover today. NASDAQ looks like it's breaking down again. Is the bounce over? That's what we want to know. That's what we're going to dive into the charts, right? And then we're going to cover S&P 500, the Dow Jones, silver, gold, 10-year yield, dollar, VIX, U.S. oil, ExxonMobil, SQQQ, probably throw in some natural gas, the Magnificent Seven. Of course, we're going to break down Bitcoin, and we're going to take a look at crypto as well. So make sure to comment the assets you want me to chart, and we'll take a look at it in the second half of the stream. The first 15 to 30 minutes, I'm going to go through as many charts as possible, get a rock and roll, and then we'll circle back and take a look at all the comments. We're going to cover every single comment. So every comment you put in, we'll read it, we'll take a look at it, and if you have whether you have a question or you have a request, we'll take a look at it. So let's jump right in to the NASDAQ, right? So let's go ahead and make the screen a little bit bigger so everyone can kind of see it, and we'll dive right in. So again, real quick, don't forget to smash the like button. We want to smash the like button. Our goal is 100 likes. 100 likes. Don't make me hit the large subscribe button. Maybe I need a large like button, but don't forget. So let's get going. All right. So this is what, quick recap, right? Quick recap. I like to do the recaps personally. It's not just for the stream. I always do a quick recap. I look at the weekly chart. I look at what we've been looking at, and are we still seeing the same thing? I like to kind of replay it and retrace what's happening, and has anything changed, right? So again, I know we go through this over and over again, but that's what we do. We go over and over again. We obsess over it. Aldo, thank you, my man. Smashing the like button. Let's go. All right, we had that bearish divergence. We know this. We had the lower high. We know this. Price came back down, hit this target, reversal candle, back up, lower high, second lower high, back down to the same target area. We've been talking about this, right? Looks like a potential bear flag and a third lower high. Still seems like that. As of right now, you can kind of see, if you take this off, you had this big red candle down, didn't quite get a full reversal candle back up, just kind of retrace back up. So as of right now, this is still most likely because you had a candle close back below this pivot point, right? And this candle took out this candle, right? So it's still looking like a third lower high. This was just a retracement back up after a huge move back down, and now it's reversing back down again. So it's still looking like that third lower high, right? So that's what we're continuing to watch, and the probabilities continue to look like they're stacking up to come back down and hit the $14,000 level. NASDAQ, is it really outperforming or is it lagging time-wise? I ask this question a lot. I've asked this question a lot in recorded coaching, in the Discord, over the last year and a half, trying to, get people to think about it this way, that there are some leading indicators, other assets, right? There are some lagging indicators, and sometimes it's not leading or lagging. It could be just more bullish of an asset or more bearish of an asset. So we're always asking that question. Is it more bullish than the Russell 2000, S&P 500, Dow Jones, silver, gold, etc., or is it lagging time-wise? I think it's personally lagging time-wise, right? That's my own personal opinion. And what do I mean by that? Well, the weekly chart, right? The weekly chart currently does not have a pending sell signal, right? And the RSI is currently at 53. So, but it is trending downward, right? So if you're looking at, RSI, right? You had the bearish divergence, had the RSI sell signal, lower high, lower low, lower low, right? Trending back down, right? Trending back down. So I think it's just lagging time-wise. That's what I truly think. And I've been wrong before, but on these higher time frames, I feel like my percentage is much higher, right? A lot higher than say the 1 hour chart or the 15-minute chart or the 5-minute chart, right? The lower the time frame, I think the less accurate you become, just because there's liquidation games that are getting played on leverage. So let's compare it, right? So let's compare the NASDAQ weekly chart, so we kind of know where that is. Russell 2000, right? Had this lower high, had an RSI sell signal, lower high, and then had another sell signal early, 1 month ago, right? So September, the week, almost a month ago. And then so 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks down, more than a month ago. Okay, we'll figure it out. We'll figure out the timing. Don't worry, it's still early in the morning. Well, not really, 9 a.m. I've already been up 3 hours, right? I already walked the dog. I already did what I needed to do, right? Walk the boss. S&P 500, right? So you had also the bear. No, there's no bearish divergence there, right? But you had this peak, right, of the rally. Then you had the lower high, right? And it kind of took some time to roll over. Then you had the big weekly candle close down that closed below the trend line, right? So closed below the trend line, closed below the trend line. Then you had a sell signal. You get the trending dots up here. At some point, you could see a bounce, but as of right now, it's still bearish, right? It's still bearish on the weekly chart, and it is having some follow through after that sell signal. So you can see it's just trending downward, and doesn't mean there can't be a lower high put in at some point in October, or most likely, where it kind of comes back up like this. Even if it comes down a little bit more, right? Kind of bounces up, lets the EMA kind of catch up, and then come back down, right? That's a real possible scenario, right? So that's SP 500. Let's get back on the sniper crosshairs over here. And then let's look at Dow Jones, right? So this is what SP 500 and NASDAQ could look like as well. You had a big sell signal followed by consecutive weeks down, right? So you had the Russell 2000 consecutive weeks lower, right? Didn't really have too big of a bounce. Like these are kind of more like going sideways, lower highs, right? So maybe it's not as high. Maybe it's something more like that, but still letting the EMA catch up to RSI and continue trending downward. Whereas the Dow Jones, at some point it's going to have, a sideways lower high, or like a more shallow lower high, or it's going to have a bounce sooner or later, right? It's possible it just goes straight down to the 200-week moving average. I think it's less. What up, 4K mods? Welcome back. NVIDIA is definitely on the list. We'll definitely cover it. We'll get into all the comments. We'll get into all the questions, and we'll definitely chart everyone's requests on the second half. Just trying to power through all these charts for the first 15-30 minutes, and then we'll jump right into all that. But NVIDIA is on the list, so we'll definitely cover that. Let's keep going. Silver had that last breakdown, right? Lower high, lower high, lower high. Breakdown of this longer upward trend line, right? Closed below. Next one, boom, dumped below the 200-week moving average. Good morning. What's up, Andre? Welcome back. Caesar, good afternoon, Jesse. Can you chart MMM? Yep, we'll come back to that. We'll definitely come back to that. So this is silver. It's breaking down, and it's still bearish. It's below $21. And if you're a perma bull on silver and gold, you're probably taken by surprise here. You're thinking and hoping that it was going to break out. Of course, we hope that it breaks out to the upside as well, but we're prepared for both scenarios. We were prepared back here. We were talking about this for weeks, that it either go like this or breakdown, right? We are prepared for two scenarios. And as the dollar was breaking out to the upside, we were leaning to the downside, right? So we had two scenarios mapped out. We saw consolidating for more than a month, putting in lower highs, and then end up just breaking down after that. So silver continues to break down. Silver is below the 200-week moving average. The Russell 2000 is below the 200-week moving average. The reason why I'm putting this out, they're all for like having a bookmark of if there's a lagging asset. Bitcoin is breaking down right now. We're definitely going to cover that. It's breaking down on the 1 hour chart. NASDAQ was breaking down on the 1 hour chart early this morning. Yes, I'm in short positions. Full disclosure, I am in short positions on Bitcoin and the NASDAQ. And in inverse of the NASDAQ, I have stock on SQQQ ETF. So full disclosure, right? That we're covering it. Good morning, Hernan. Am I pronouncing that correct, Hernan? I know I probably should have like a better. I know there's an accent above the A, so I probably should have a better accent. But you know me, my pronunciation. So that's why Aldo continues to keep me humble over here and misspell my name, Olsen. Thanks, Aldo. All right, let's get back to it. Silver breaking down. Gold continues to break down, right? Continues to trend towards that third target. Is it going to get to the 200-week moving average? It seems like it, right? I mean, it seems like the probabilities stack are very high, right? Very stack. It doesn't mean it's going to happen all at once, right? It could get some sort of like, catch its breath on the weekly. It's getting pretty far extended from the trending dots. You do have this horizontal support back here, right? That is coming to. So maybe it finds like temporary support at this horizontal line. Otherwise, the next major support, in my opinion, is this final target box here, 200-week moving average. Of course, there is another target below, and the eyeball test is going to be about right there, right? So we'll take a look at that. But before we get to there, we got to worry about hitting here. And in the meantime, it could catch its breath, possibly at this horizontal target here as well, right? So if you're into the horizontal lines like many are, this would be your next at 1870. That's what you're watching. But it is bearish on the weekly chart. And silver, the Russell 2000, is below the 200-week moving average. Will gold follow and drop below the 200-week moving average and possibly come down and hit another target below there? That's what we're going to watch. 10-year yield continues to be ultra bullish on the weekly, ultra bullish on the monthly. We have these longer term monthly charts mapped out from 40 years ago. These targets are mapped out from 40 years ago. This downward trend line is from 40 years ago, right? So it's a 40-year downward trend from almost 40 years, 1987. Oh, man, 36 years ago. I should know that. It's when my wife was born. I should know that. It's not 40 years. God, I hope she doesn't hear me say that. Otherwise, I'm going to be on the X app, right? Oh, put them doing joke. Let's smash the like for these early morning jokes, right? Okay. I'd like to request US oil. Great. Your wish is my command. Aldo, it's already on the list. We're going to cover it. So you don't even have to request it. You don't even have to use that as your special request. 4K mods, you don't even have to use NVIDIA as your special request of the day. I'm going to cover those anyways. So bullish on the monthly chart, bullish on the weekly chart. It's just continue to be bullish. Is there going to be some short-term pullback, though, on the 10-year yield, right? Is there going to be some short-term pullback? It was ultra bullish on the daily. Still, so let's take a breath here. When it's ultra bullish on the weekly and ultra bullish on the monthly, and even if there is a short-term pullback on the daily chart, expecting bounces, right? Expecting pullbacks, expecting bounces. And what you could do is kind of like draw this out. So it doesn't mean like, people, traders, investors, macro will continue to call tops all the way, right? And when the weekly and the monthly chart is still bullish, you you got to be very cautious of calling tops, right? You can call this top, this top, this top, this top, and you're guessing. And as you're guessing, even though there's bearish divergence, there could be future bearish divergence, right? Then a short correction of the bearish divergence, right? And then it continues higher and higher. So the weekly and the monthly chart, when it's pumping, when it's ultra bullish, to me that trumps the shorter time frames. So on the shorter time frames, if there's a short-term pullback, right, even if it comes all the way back down here, right, I'm expecting bounces. I'm expecting pullbacks on the shorter time frames. But and this could be the top, right? But at 4.88, it's going to come up short of the target box. It's possible, but it just seems like when the weekly and the monthly is ultra bullish, it's going to come back, let the trending dots catch up, come back to the trend line, and then see if it's going to bounce from there. So that's what you have to like. That's what I have to lean towards when the higher time frame. That's what I'm trying to say. That's the way I'm going to lean when the higher time frame, the higher time frames are bullish. That these shorter term are just pullbacks, and then looking for the bounce from there. All right, let's keep going. Let's get some water. Again, similar thought on the DXY. It hit all three of these targets, right? There is bearish divergence on the daily chart. It could just be a shorter term pullback to the trending dots, right? Let's draw out a trend line here. Could just be a pullback to the trending dots and the trend line. They're both lining up nicely, but it's something to pay attention to that it could be a bigger pullback, right? Could be a bigger pullback before it makes another move to the upside. There is, like I said, the bearish divergence. There hasn't really been a bigger pullback on the dollar, so keep an eye on that. But if we look at the weekly chart, right? If we look at the weekly chart, it's still bullish. So it could just be one of those pullbacks, comes back down in a short time period to retest like the trending dots, retest like maybe a key target area to the downside where it comes back, kind of like this over a couple of days, right? Comes all the way back up and then starts coming back up into this target. So be prepared for that. It's possible. And then what would happen is at the same time when silver and gold are breaking down pretty heavily, maybe there's a bounce on silver and gold, and this puts in like some sort of a bear flag, a bull flag, right? Puts in a bull flag, something like that. Whereas silver and gold possibly put in a bear flag, right? Good morning, Rick. Rick's Moneymakers Helton. Hi, everyone. What's up, Rick? We're going to get to all the comments. We're going to keep powering through. We've already been through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 charts, right? Let's keep going. Still bullish on the VIX weekly chart. Still currently bullish on the daily chart. It did get rejected at the 200-week moving average and right around that target 2. So will we see target 3? Seems likely. It's still bullish. The EMA's even starting to get bullish on the weekly chart, right? So that's the VIX. Let's take a look at Bitcoin real quick. It did have a sell signal after all. When we went live, it was right before we went live. It was pending a sell signal on the 1 hour chart, and then now once we went live, it became a sell signal, and we'll see if there's follow through, and we'll take a look at it. So, what we've been talking about is, so we've got the halving, projected halving dates either this week or next or the week after. I'm just using the first week of April for now, but this is what we're kind of watching, right? So what we've been talking about on Bitcoin, and I just did a deeper 14-minute dive on Tuesday, so take a look at that video. But really, from a longer term perspective, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about it breaking down similar to silver and gold. Where will it find support? What targets will it hit? and then will it roll over, put in that lower high that we've been waiting for, and then at some point attack it to the downside? It's too early to call this a hot. Man, I saw on the last live stream, I kept calling it a lower high, a higher low, but it's a lower high, right? I always do that. So a lower high, right? So it's too early to call that a lower high, but it's starting to look like that. It still seems like this is going to put in that lower high. It could take this week, the next week, possibly another week to start fully breaking down. But there is a sell signal in the lower time frame, the lower 1 hour chart. It starts with the lower time frame, then it builds to a higher time frame, and then the next thing you know, the weekly chart finally has a sell signal, right? And by then, you have that big flush down to the bottom, and it would look very similar to silver and gold if price comes back, hits this target and this target, and it would also be back below the 200-week moving average again, right? So if it follows silver and gold, Bitcoin, then we would see prices come back down, hit this target, and the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones, and the list goes on, right? So we'll continue to watch it. Let's drop down the daily chart, right? Let's get back on the crosshairs here. So kind of zooming in here. It's too early to call it, but we did have that reversal candle back here. We had another reversal candle on the daily chart. It started to spike back up, caught some more longs, I'm sure. I was already seeing the posts, right? I was already seeing it. Potentially caught some more. It hasn't broken down. This is based off the weekly chart, but was this a lower high? Is this another lower high on the daily chart, right? Is it going to start breaking down? A close back below this trend line makes me more and more confident that it does. Start getting back below the trending dots, and then you probably see a bigger flush if we start getting daily closes back below, over the next coming days or weeks, or maybe by the end of this weekly candle, closing back below this $27,000, below the trending dots, below this trend line here. Then you might see a bigger flush at that point, because most likely the weekly chart is also starting to look bearish at that point as well. So it kind of might take a day or two or three or four for it to kind of play out, but this is looking like a lower high. It's looking like a lower high. There was a reversal candle, right? We're more interested in the closes, not these wicks, right? So these wicks, it was, price was starting up here at 28,000. It's looking bullish, traps some more people, and then what does it do? It just reverses back down, right? Takes out some late shorts on the lower time frames, and then it moves downward, right? So let's take a look at that 1 hour chart that I talked about just for fun. It's fun. Let's look at it, right? So it had a buy signal on the 1 hour chart. After the sell signal, it flipped back around. So catches people off guard here, right? Pushes up, got ultra bullish, and then flips right back around, right? So really, if you look at this from this point to this point, this pivot, I can tell you that it hit a key target area. I can tell you that, from looking at charts over and over and over again, you had a retracement probably from here, and then that final one right around there, hit these targets very quickly, and then flipped right back around. And you can see that he had an hourly candle close back below this upward trend line. Price came back, retested it, and then started to break back down. So it's bearish, right? It's bearish on the 1 hour chart, and we'll see if it turns out. And of course, it did have a MACD bearish crossover on the 1 hour chart as well. So if I were to select that on the indicator, right, the MACD, show the MACDs, it would tell us that it had a MACD bearish crossover as well. So that's Bitcoin. Let's jump into US oil. And then let me know if you guys want to see any crypto assets, you have any questions about Bitcoin, or if you have anything else. But US oil, right? Here's the daily chart. Had bearish divergence, right? September 18th, and then the peak at September 27th. So you had bearish divergence after it hit a key target area, right? So we had higher key target areas as well, but we saw the bearish divergence at this key target area. It did not hit a higher target. And so at a key target area with bearish divergence, it starts to break down, right? So you're seeing it break down. You've seen it break down. And then you have a candle close below the trend line and the trending dots. Trending dots are starting to roll over. Then you have a sell signal below this line. And then it moves quickly, right? It moves very quickly. And you can see that there is follow through after the sell signal and that big flush down. And so the probabilities are continuing to increase. That's going to hit the next target, then maybe the next target, then maybe the 200-week moving average. Hernan, I'm short from 24. Can you let me know what asset you're talking about? You're short from 24. Let me know so we can talk about it in the second half of the stream. I'm always interested on what everyone's doing, whether you're an investor, a trader, a day trader, scalper, whatever it is, or you're just a fly in the wall. Doesn't matter. Whatever you're interested in, then let me know. Oh, Solana. Okay, Solana. So that's the daily chart on the U.S. oil. Wow, I didn't even look at the weekly chart. Whew, big potential reversal candle on the weekly chart. Had a reversal back here. That in hindsight, that turned out to be the bottom, right? It's not enough to be its own strategy, but I do really, really like the reversal candles, especially after divergence. So if we're spotting divergence and then we have a reversal candle, I'm really, really liking it. But the weekly chart has a potential massive reversal candle. It hasn't closed yet. It closes tomorrow. So I love that the reversal candle is in real time. It's not telling us what's happening after the fact. Once it gets to the point of looking like it could be a reversal candle, like maybe halfway through the candle, it's already telling us like it's flashing reversal candle. Good morning, Phantom. We're going to get through all the comments. Welcome back, everybody. I appreciate it. Let's take a quick water break and smash that like button. Subscribe. Smash the like. Come on, let's get obnoxious here and let's get crazy. Let's hit that goal of 100 likes. Let's get crazy. Come on, help me out. Help me out. Help me. Help you. Help me. All right. So reversal candle potentially on U.S. oil. I have these older, longer term targets. Many of these targets were hit to the downside, right? And one still remains from down here. Like I removed all the targets to the downside that were already hit, but we have this target here, right? And if it starts reversing back down and gets back below the 200-week moving average, once it hits this target, then it becomes a higher probability. Then it hits this target, then we'll worry about the 200-week moving average, and if it starts breaking from down there from the 200-week moving average, then we'll start to worry about price coming all the way back down and possibly hitting this target on U.S. oil. So too early to say. We had the bearish divergence long term, breakdown, a bounce, a rally, multi-week rally, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, a 12-week rally, followed by a reversal candle, right? So we'll see how it plays out. And if it continues to start getting bearish, and if we start to see a sell signal after that, there's no sell signal yet on the weekly chart. That's U.S. oil. ExxonMobil looks very similar, also has a pending sell signal. And so just so we can, for purposes of seeing the pending sell signal, right? You can see the pending sell signal and potential reversal candle at the same time, right? So you're not seeing that on the U.S. oil yet, but you are seeing that on the ExxonMobil Corporation, that you do have a pending sell and an RSI reversal. So you got the RSI reversal candle on the weekly chart and the pending sell signal, right? So it already came down, hit this target and barely hit target 2, came back up. Looks like it put in that lower high after the bearish divergence, or that is a sneaky lower high there. Another lower high there, reversal candle. It looks like it's breaking down. It seems like retest of these targets, is a high probability. Lucky Look. Hey, Jess, really interesting time to be in. Great work on the charts. Thank you, Lucky Look. Appreciate it. Let me know if you want me to chart anything for you on the second half of the stream. Happy to do so. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This could be a weekly close below the trending dots. Already had multiple closes below this longer term upward trend line going back to December 2021. So it had quite the rally, right? Hasn't retested the 200-week moving average since January 2022. So that's the breakdown on XOM, aka ExxonMobil, bearish on the daily chart. Expect bounces along the way. That's what we're watching. Let's jump over to the Magnificent 7. Then we'll swing back around to the SQQQ, maybe natural gas. Let me know what you guys are interested in, what you want to take a look at. We're 30 minutes in. We're rocking and rolling, and we'll take a look at it. So Magnificent 7, NVIDIA, holding on still. This still could be the higher low, right? This still could be, no, not the higher low. I always do this. It could still be the lower high, right? This could still be the lower high. Too early to say, but it could get rejected, and this could still be a wick, similar to what I was talking about on Bitcoin. Or it could rally up and put in a lower high, higher up, right? So it's too early to say, but regardless, once price starts breaking back down from this trend line, let's draw out another one. Let's draw out a more vertical trend line, a more parabolic trend line. Emmanuel, good morning. Longtime sniper. Emmanuel, can you do ETH? It is leading BTC to the downside. A lot of times it is leading the way. We'll take a look at it for sure. We'll definitely look at it. I already had a request on Solana. We do want to cover crypto anyways. So we're just going to get through the Magnificent 7 fairly quickly. So you're still probably waiting for the NVIDIA lower high to be confirmed. As of right now, it's at 447. We'll see if it takes that out with the close higher or not. Meta, aka Facebook, breakdown, push back up, breakdown, push back up, right? Still battling. But is Meta, aka Facebook, aka Meta Platforms Inc., putting in sneaky lower highs, right? Could it start the rollover soon? Could it happen, right? We'll see. Jesse, your take on Bitcoin dominance. We'll jump into it. We can take a look at the chart. Lucky Look. I don't get too crazy on the whole Bitcoin dominance overall macro. When this happens, or when this happens, when that happens, right? I do take a look at it, and I have been posting charts that Bitcoin dominance for like a long time could be gearing up to retest the 200-week moving average. I haven't looked at it today, but I looked at it yesterday or the other day. Bitcoin dominance was still trending up towards the 200-week moving average. Really, overall, in the short answer, Lucky Look, is that the short answer would be if Bitcoin and the crypto assets are correcting, crypto assets I would expect to drop more than Bitcoin. So Bitcoin dominance would be up. If Bitcoin is pumping, maybe the crypto assets are lagging time-wise because Bitcoin dominance is also going up. So really, that's all. I keep it fairly simple and I just keep it to that. And then I look at the charts overall. But I always trade the chart in front of me first and foremost. But I will take a look at Bitcoin dominance here and there. Amazon. Oh, let's go Meta weekly chart real quick. Still holding on, right? But is it going to put in a sneaky lower high? Well, yes, I said it right. A sneaky lower high. We don't know. Amazon, right? Trending dot starting to go red. We could see a pending sell signal on Amazon weekly chart any moment. Today, tomorrow, early next week, we could see it, a pending sell signal. And then the probabilities will continue to increase to hit this next target below, which is also happens to be the 200-week moving average. Will we see it continue lower, similar below the 200-week moving average, similar to the Russell 2000? Similar to silver, similar to gold, etc., and so on, right? So let's look at the daily chart. Still bearish on the daily chart. We're looking for that lower high. Is the lower high in, right? Seems like it. Seems like another lower high is in, and it'd be more what we originally were thinking was a move down, possibly a bear flag, and it continues down from there. That's what it's starting to look like. Too early to say. A candle close below 124 makes me think that this is more of the play versus coming all the way back up here and putting in a lower high up here, right? So that's Amazon continuing to be bearish on the daily chart. Seems like this is Microsoft. Seems like this is more likely that this is also the lower high and a potential bear flag, right? Too early to call it, right? But just seems like it still is as of right now. Maybe this is a lower high. Maybe this is another sneaky lower high here. And then it starts to roll over from there. And then you've got the lower targets. Let's look. The 200-week moving average is fairly low, right? From here, still 20% drop in Microsoft. That's pretty crazy. Hasn't retested the 200-week moving average since January 2023. So it's been quite the rally this year. And now after the bearish divergence at a lower high, this could be another lower high and then continue downward on Microsoft. What are we looking at on the weekly chart? Pending buy after a sell signal. I'd be surprised if that pending buy holds up. It's well below the trending dots, so I wouldn't pay too much attention to the pending buy signal way down here. Doesn't mean it couldn't bounce and come back up, but by the end of today, by tomorrow, it could still be under the sell signal, right? So it's too early to say, or maybe there's buy signal and it flips back around to the sell signal tomorrow, right? But overall, it's trending down. The EMA is trending down on the RSI indicator as well, right? So Tesla still holding on, but will it put in another lower high on the weekly chart? Will this be another lower high and then end up breaking back down? This kind of looks and reminds me, I forgot to talk about it. I don't see John on here. John's not in the comments. He usually wants to look at Tesla, but what's up, boss? Just in time for Tesla. Well, Arnold's here for Tesla, right? Perfect timing. All right. Well, so we had this peak here. We had a lower high. This could be a lower high, and this consolidation looks very similar to silver, right? So silver was consolidating, putting in lower highs, and then end up breaking back down and then coming back down to 200-week moving average and even below the 200-week moving average. So we'll see if that happens or not. Let's drop down the daily chart. It is trending down to be bearish on the weekly chart, but is currently still not, right? So what can we see from here? It looks like it's coming into like some sort of consolidation, and then we're going to find out if there's going to be a breakdown on the daily chart, like a a more vertical trend line. So kind of watching it, right? Was that it? Was that just a quick pump on one daily candle and then it puts in like a sneaky lower high and then starts to roll back over, maybe another one, and then starts to roll back over from there, right? Could come all the way back up and test here, but it might be it. We don't know. It could just be take out late shorts, right? It came all the way back up here. And we talked about this. There's a mini gap there. It did fill that gap. I think it's less likely it comes all the way back up here and fills this gap, but it's possible. So it seems like it could start to come back down, maybe takes another week or so, and then breaks down from there. So this is kind of the trend line in the sand. This is kind of the trend line in the sand. This is definitely the line in the sand to break back down. Of course, probably seen a sell signal at that point, and then we'll see how the weekly chart kind of plays out from there. So that's what we're watching on Tesla. Will that be the next short opportunity for Tesla? Still currently bearish on Apple daily chart. Oop, just knocked the monitor with my leg from the desk. Apple, man, we're covering a lot. 40 minutes straight here. If you guys aren't smashing the like, I don't know what to tell you. If you're not subscriber, I don't know what to tell you. Subscribe, hit the like. We're 40 minutes strong into pure charts, right? Pure charts, speculation, what's happening in real time. Apple daily chart is still bearish. Could have a close above, which means it could have still take some time off the clock, right? Maybe it has a higher bounce and comes up and fills this gap at 181, right? It's possible. Let's take a look at the weekly chart. The weekly chart still currently bearish, right? And the trending dots are pretty far up there. So it's kind of like after hitting this target 2, just kind of letting the trending dots catch up, right? If you kind of eyeball it out, if you're letting the trending dots catch up and you're letting the moving averages catch up, then while it's doing that, it could kind of like float back in like this and take its time and put in another lower high and then come back down, right? So you can kind of see like timing wise, rarely, especially on this large of an asset, rarely it's just going to go straight down, right? I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen with stocks. I've seen it with crypto. I've seen it with the Moscow exchange, even before the war with Ukraine, right? I've seen it happen, massive major moves down quickly, but it's rare, right? It's probably more like something like that, right? And then it starts to get more bearish, and then there's like some sort of final capitulation or bigger move down. It's rare that as a swing trader we get a huge flush like that, which is amazing, right? But Netflix had it, several stocks had it, Moscow Exchange had it, so it's possible, right? That you get a lower high and then all of a sudden it just drops straight down, right? So the more bearish it becomes, the potential bigger moves to the downside quickly it could happen. So, but as of right now, it's kind of like waiting for the trending dots to kind of catch up, kind of like it did here. You had this big move down, came all the way back up, and then as it becomes more bearish, I'm expecting these lower highs, these bounces, these sell the rip type of scenarios to become less and less over time, right? Become more and more shallow, and then the moves to the downside would be bigger, right? So it's a lot of drawing, it's a lot of speculation. That's what we do. Let's look at Google. Let's get the crosshairs back on. Is this going to be the lower high, right? That's what we're kind of watching and waiting. Is this going to be the lower high that we were talking about? Trap some more longs in, fill this gap. We were talking about this the other day when it was looking bullish. We were talking about it. So we're not just talking about it, after the fact. We're talking about it in real time. We had this mapped out even way back here that we could see like some sort of, drop down, put in some sort of bear flag or lower high, right? And then We've got the line in the sand. Is it going to start to close back down below, get another sell signal, and then see lower prices? So that's Google. Let's go through the comments. Let's look at some assets you guys want to take a look at. Probably still hit SQQQ. Probably still hit natural gas futures. Let's take a look. Let's run through it all. West Diddy, let's go. Welcome back. Aldo, sup Olson. What's up, Aldo? We're going to go through them all. MMM. All right, Caesar. You're the first one to comment an asset. Let's take a look at MMM for a long-term investment. We'll come back to it. Aldo, thank you for smashing the like button. Appreciate it. Yesterday was my first time watching you. Wow. Awesome, Caesar. I found out about your channel through Salmondrin on the X app. Oh, yeah. It's my buddy. It's my cyber buddy. I've never met him in person, but I've watched a lot of his posts, a lot of his videos. Many people, Caesar, have found me through Salmondrin. I reach out to him. He's got a ton of followers on YouTube, and he's an awesome guy, right? I reach out to him in the direct messages on the X app and ask for his help on what should I have for like this mic. So shout out to you see this, right? Shout out to Salmondrin for if he happens to see this YouTube live stream. He's the one that told me to get this mic. I asked him. He's the one that told me I should use StreamYard, and then I was having lagging difficulties. My computer wasn't pushing it. I did a bunch of troubleshooting. I asked him. He even was so kind to let me have access to his tech guy, and his tech guy confirmed it's most likely my computer wasn't fast enough to push it, so I had to go out and get a gaming laptop to push these live streams. So, yep, appreciate Salmondrin, and a lot of people have found me through him. So I always appreciate him, and I try to help him with charts. He's good at the charts too. So my cyber buddy over there. What do you think about NVIDIA? Yep, covered NVIDIA down. There's a 20% gap, 4K mods. Eventually, I'd be surprised if that gap never got filled, right? Eventually, that gap's going to get filled. When? We don't know. That's my honest opinion. Andre, welcome back. Welcome back, my man. Hi, Jesse. What's up, Hernan? Is it Hernan? It's definitely not Hernan. Hernan, right? Am I saying it? I'm saying it incorrectly, of course. U.S. Oil, covered that. You got it, Aldo. Rick's Moneymakers Helton. God, I love that name. So funny. Hi, everyone. Can we check Solana? You got it. We will check that. We're going to do MMM. Then we'll come back to Solana. I'm short from 24. Okay. Yep. Good morning, Phantom. Welcome back. Lucky look. Really interesting time to be in. Great work on charts. Thank you. Can you do ETH? Yep. You got it, my man. Long time sniper in the Discord. You got it. Sniper in the markets. Your take on BTC dominance. Yep. We covered that. We can look at the chart too if we got some time. Agree 100%. Rest of the market do have a much bigger impact on crypto than BTC dominance alone. Yep. Okay. Sup, boss? Just in time for, and you could just say Bitcoin in general, right? So if Bitcoin's going down, you could say crypto's going down. Overall markets are going down. Bitcoin down 1.23% today, below 27,500. There was that sell signal on the 1 hour chart. MACD bearish crossover. RSI sell signal on our indicator. Tesla, got it. All right, let's get back to it. Let's go back to MMM. All right, Caesar, let me know you're still in MMM, long-term investment. All right, let's look at it. I'm assuming that's stock, right? I probably know it. I can't remember all of them, but I'm pretty sure it's stock. Let me know if I have the right one, the right symbol. MMM. Yep. Okay. Most likely 3M company. It's a large company. Okay. Long-term investment. All right. Let's zoom out here. Let me know you're still here, Caesar. No, I'm sorry, not Caesar. Who was it? Yeah, Caesar. It was Caesar. All right. Here's the weekly chart. The weekly chart is still bearish, right? The weekly chart is still bearish. There is long-term bullish divergence, right? There is long-term bullish divergence. Stock. Yep, I think I got it. I'm pretty sure. As soon as I saw 3M Company, obviously most people know who 3M Company is, but I forget all the symbols. It's hard to keep track of them all. There's thousands of them, right? I know, obviously, I know the big ones, but 3M Company, it's a recognizable company. There is a sell signal on the weekly chart. The last one was September 11th. You can kind of look back that it's been in this bear market since January 2018, right? So it's been in a bear market since January 2018. And the last rally, right, from March 2020 lows, the last rally was all the way to May 2021. And then that kind of kicked off the rest of the bear market as well, right? For December 2021, kind of kicked off like NASDAQ and all that stuff. So it's interesting that it's been bearish and been that weekly sell signal was September 2021. Kind of zoom in here a little bit so you can see it a little better on the chart. And it's been bearish below the 200-week moving average since January 2022. That is a long time. Could this bullish divergence eventually get a massive bounce or a massive rally similar to back here? Yeah. But I wouldn't guess, right? Like I'm not guessing that it's going to happen because it is bearish right now. So I'd be waiting for, a higher probability reversal, right? Like you could even draw like this trend line. It may take time, right? It may continue to go lower. It's back to like, you could even go back to 2004 prices, right? So don't ever assume that, just because the value is so much lower than 2018 of $260, it can remain lower, right? So we don't know where it's going to find support. One thing that would be very interesting is I've talked about this and covered on. Go take a look at the stock market crashing video. There's like 550 views on it, but it's from like 10 or 11 days ago. And I put on the 900-week moving average, right? That the NASDAQ came back to retrace. I'm interested to see where it's at. The NASDAQ and SP 500 has come back to the 900-week moving average in both previous corrections. And even in 2008, it went below the 900-week moving average. The 3M Company is below it, right? This is an incredible long-term 900-week moving average, like way back 2008, right? Was the last time it was below it. 3M Company is well below the 900-week moving average, and it's trending downward. So people always say unprecedented times. It's this stock is unprecedented, right? It's well below the 900-week moving average. So there is bullish divergence long term, but it's bearish. If we were to look at the monthly chart, it's been bearish on the monthly chart. You can see the last sell signal on the monthly chart was September 2021. And it's been bearish for 2 years, right? From this last sell signal. The first monthly sell signal was 2018. So you can see that it's been in a bear market for 5 years. And this was just a lower high on a rally, right? I wouldn't touch this. You're coming back this next point. I wouldn't touch it until there's a higher probability reversal, right? So that's just my take on it. You have this pivot point from 2009 that you could see like this pivot point here. Is it possible it comes all the way back down to there? I mean, it's possible, right? Let's look at the daily chart. So those are the long-term investment, what I'm talking about and what I'm looking at, the weekly and the monthly chart. So for me, I don't I'm not going to jump in front of Caesar. I'm not going to jump in front of a falling knife. I don't catch falling knives. That is not my strategy. That is not what I'm looking to do. And you can kind of see where if this is based off of the weekly chart, this trend line, where is the end in sight, right? Where is this going to finally find a bottom and reverse, right? When is it going to do that, if ever? So anyways, it's bearish on the monthly, weekly, daily, ultra bearish on the weekly. It's crashing right now. It's crashing hard. And it's well below the 900 week moving average, 200 week moving average. So I don't know. That's what I see on it. Let's go ahead and change this back to the 900, back to the 200 week for, I like to use it as a solid bookmark, right? It's trending down. So until it flips the 200 week moving average at some point, many investors, long-term investors, are going to say it's in a bear market. And you've got this just trending down hard, right? So maybe some bullish divergence going back to here, but it can remain diverged for much longer than we would think. All right, that's a lot. All right, let's go. Let's go back to Solano. That was a good one to chart. I enjoyed looking at it. Let's look at Solano. Short from $24. Let's take a look. So it hit target 3. I know that. It hit target 3 to the upside. So let's kind of zoom in here. That's the weekly chart. Let's look at the daily chart. So it hit those 3 targets, right? So you must have got in. Thanks much. Appreciate it. You got it, Caesar. You got it. You got it, my man. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for smashing the like button. I know you did. I could feel it, especially after that. So Solana is short from $24, right? I mean that's pretty early. So you might be on a lower time frame, right? Or you shorted at a key target area, or whatever you chose to do. But we were watching and calling this breakout, and we talked about in that video Bitcoin and crypto bounce, right? We were talking about it, and that Bitcoin hit 3 targets to the retracement. So could we see some crypto assets hit 3 targets? Solana is one of them. Not all of them did, right? Some of them hit 1 target and rolled over. Some of Ethereum, I think, hit 2 targets, and someone said it looks like it's rolling over. So we'll take a look at Ethereum as well. And so Solana hit 3 targets. So we'll see if it's going to hit more, or if it's just going to retrace down to here, bounce, and possibly come all the way back up. But as of right now, if Bitcoin, the overall markets are rolling over, stuff like that, just be cautious if you're in a long position, right? So it's too early to call it on the daily chart, but let's drop down to a lower time frame. Let me know if you're on a lower time frame when you took this short, just so we can kind of put it into, like, even dropping down to the 8-hour. It's looking like you had the RSI sell signal. It is trending down, but when I say it's too early to call it on the higher time frames, I mean, even on the 8-hour chart, this could possibly be a bull flag, right? I think it's less likely. I think, with the trending dots starting to roll back over on the 8-hour chart, there's probably a sell signal on the 4-hour chart already. So maybe you took it off of that. Yep. Sell signal kind of battled back, another sell signal, and it's breaking down. So if you took this based off of a lower time frame, you could see these lower time frame sell signals kind of flip into the next higher time frame. Like the 4-hour becomes the 8-hour. The 8-hour becomes the 12-hour. The 12-hour becomes the daily chart, right? And then it turns into the weekly and stuff like that. And that's kind of how it happens. It kind of progresses over time. So you had, like, it is bearish on the 1-hour chart. It had another breakdown, right? So it's kind of battling it. On the 1-hour chart at this key target area, you had, like, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. So just really, yeah, 4-hour chart. Yeah, so based off of the 4-hour chart, you can kind of see where on the 4-hour chart, you have this bearish divergence, right? So that's number one. So you got bearish divergence on the 4-hour chart. And it's possible if I change the settings, the inputs for the reversal candle, that you see like bearish divergence followed by a potential reversal candle, followed by, RSI sell signal, and then lower high, right? Potential lower high, and then potential lower high, and then it starts continuing to break down. So $24, maybe you had this drawn out on the 4-hour chart, right? Kind of map it out like this. So start with that trend line and then kind of build it from there, right? So that's what I was kind of looking at, is like even this candle broke down here at 23.50, right? You could even make it even more steep. So depending on how aggressive you are, right? So you can see like you've got bearish divergence followed by a candle breakdown here, 23.81. So it seems like you're pretty aggressive getting in at $24. So you're at this point, you're just, especially with the 4-hour chart starting to get bearish, right? And it takes a little bit of time because the higher time frames, are still currently bullish. So it just kind of takes time for the lower time frames to roll over slowly while the higher time frames catch up, right? So that could be it at 24, call it 24.80, could be the peak, because you even got like a double top on the wicks on the 4-hour chart. So you got like this double top here, right? You've got bearish divergence on the 4-hour chart, and it's trending downward, right? So even the EMA is trending down closer and closer and could be becoming more and more bearish, right? So you've got like, eyeball test, you've got probably target here, that makes sense, 2150, possibly back down here, 2016, and then see if it's going to be a bigger play to the downside and try to push it as long as you can, right? So that's what I'm seeing in Solana. Let's jump back to the daily chart. Let's look at Ethereum. Did I miss any other ones? Let's take a look. Emmanuel, you still here? Are you still here, Emmanuel, with us? Let's look at Ethereum. Pending sell signal on Ethereum after hitting target 2 and a reversal candle. So is that what we're going to see on other crypto assets as well? Is that what we're going to see on Bitcoin? Let's take a look. Well, Bitcoin already had a reversal candle. So Ethereum might be breaking down faster. Appreciate it. You got it. You got it, my man. You got it. Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining us. Shout out to the replay crew. Even if you're not here with us live, we definitely need your help smashing that like button. Let's get 100 likes. Let's do your best. I will do my best. I'll continue to do my best to look at the charts, and you do your best. We're at 1 hour. We've got more gas in the tank here. We got some energy. We're ready to rock and roll. We've got people on here with us wanting to sniper the markets together. So I appreciate it. So quick recap. We had the bullish divergence, and we talked about this on that Bitcoin and crypto video. So go take a look at that if you want to know more about what I was talking about here, the bullish divergence, followed by yup, here until the end. You got it, Emmanuel. Awesome, my man. Sneaky, let me say this right, a sneaky higher low. I got it. I had to think about it. Bounce off the 200-week moving average, hit target 1, hit target 2. So wherever the targets were, whether it's target 2, target 3, we mapped all this out in advance, right? Solana hit target 3, Bitcoin hit target 3, Ethereum did not, right? So we take all that into consideration, and then you see it even spiked up above target 2, started to reverse on the lower time frames, had a reversal candle on the daily chart, similar to Bitcoin, reversal candle on the daily chart. It's breaking down from this trend line, right? We flip back and forth. Now we have a pending sell signal on the daily chart for Ethereum. Is that it? You get a candle close below it. I'm going to say yes, right? You had a candle close yesterday below this trend line. You've got a pending sell signal. This is what I'd say is follow through, right? You got one more hope here. If you're a perma bull on Ethereum, you're hoping it finds support there. You're hoping it finds support at the 200-week moving average. You've got this area here, right? Horizontal, 200-week moving average, upward trend line. That is your last line of support. But we all saw what silver, gold, and the overall markets are doing. They're continuing to crash and go lower. So why would Ethereum, maybe it finds support short term like that, puts another lower high in, and then continues down, right? So that's what I'd be kind of watching there, but it is breaking down in real time, pending sell signal. Let's just take a quick glance at the 8-hour chart. Had a sell signal back here. That would have been perfect if you're on the 8-hour chart. As far as like breaking down from this trend line here, faked back out to the upside, broke back down again, and then it's been battling down lower and lower on the 8-hour chart. If you look all the way down the 4-hour chart, you had the slight bearish divergence here in here, followed by breaking back down. A 4-hour candle close below the trend line, below 1700. Had that sell signal at 1674, and then it's been bearish ever since on the 4-hour chart. So it's still bearish on the 4-hour chart, and now we have a pending sell signal on the daily. Let's take a look at the weekly chart. Zoom out. Never had that buy signal like Bitcoin, but it did have that move back up into the trending dots, just as we talked about way back weeks, if not months ago. Let's go ahead and pat ourselves on the back. We need to pat ourselves on the back here a little bit. Here and there, we talked about this. We game planned this, right? Thought Bitcoin would do something like this. Thought it would kind of come back up and then roll back over and come back down. I have a question mark here. Is it going to hit this target here? I have a question mark here. I have a target laid out there. That's what we're watching. 1,500, 1,300. Remember, if you're watching this and you remember me calling out, I think many people would be surprised that Ethereum would be sub $1,000. Crypto Ferez, let me know if you're, he's on the X app. Let me know if you remember. Of course he remembers this. He talks about this all the time. I shorted this, right? I shorted from 3408, right? I took that short there. I took that short up at 4380, right? I took that short. I took this short, and I said many will be surprised if we see sub $1,000 Ethereum, and many were. And Crypto Ferez, shout out to you, my man. It's been following me on Twitter, the X app, Twitter, that formerly known as Twitter, the X app. He pointed that out many, many times, that expecting more bounce as long as we stay above 20. Lucky look. Okay. Don't bet against the snipers. That's a little bit of words of wisdom. When I shorted Ethereum, what I want to say is don't bet against us, right? I shorted at 3408. Many were calling for a massive move on Ethereum at 3408. Many gurus, many experts, quote unquote, many people that charge for courses charge 4 or 5 times more than I do for recorded coaching. Is $79 a month. You get all these indicators and stuff, but like many of them at 4380 were calling for all-time highs. I put on a 10x leverage short. Many were calling for that. I'm shorting the bounces, right? So don't bet against the snipers, right? So here's what we're looking at on the weekly chart. After this nice rally, a reversal candle, lower high. This is looking like a lower high getting rejected at the trending dots. This is looking like a sneaky lower high here and continuing possibly downward from there, especially on the lower time frames. So that's what we're looking at in Ethereum. 26,800 for Bitcoin. I don't know. We had a reversal candle on the daily chart. Ethereum is breaking down. Silver broke down. Gold broke down. NASDAQ's, in the process of breaking down. So let's take a look at the NASDAQ. Any change from there? Not yet. So could be breaking down if you look at Bitcoin in the 4-hour chart, right? So after Ethereum, if it breaks down similar to Ethereum, lucky look, once there was that 4-hour close below this similar trend line and a pending sell signal on the 4-hour, right? Already had the RSI sell signal back here, way back here, and close below the trading dots. You get another 4-hour close below this upward trend line, back below the trending dots, pending sell signal. Seems like, another bounce up after 26,800. I mean, I don't know how high of a bounce you're talking about. Maybe you're just thinking it comes back down this trend line and then bounces from there, right? Maybe you're saying from there and it bounces. I mean, possibly, but I don't think it's going to come all the way back up here like that, or all the way back up here to this area and come back down. It's possible, but I don't think so. I think it's more of something like I mapped out on Ethereum, maybe something like that, puts in that lower high and comes back like that, right? That would make more sense to me. But as it continues to get bearish, it could just flush straight down, similar to silver and gold, could just flush straight down. Of course, like little bear flags along the way, right? On lower time frames. That's what I'm kind of thinking about for Bitcoin. You can take a look at that Bitcoin video from Tuesday. I did a little bit of a deeper dive on higher time frames as well. With that, I'm not seeing any other comments. Anything else you want me to chart? We're over 1 hour already, hour and 10 minutes. Thank you for all of your support. I appreciate everyone for liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing, all that stuff. Helps out the algorithms, helps me, keeps me doing these so I can help you in return. And with that, I hope you have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. And we'll see.